So welcome to this side of YouTube. We're talking about the things that are buried when it comes to Black beauty. And so if that's something that interests you, stick around. And so I'm coming to you not as someone who's a pro at all of this stuff, but as someone who's like, why are we not talking more about this? So as always, I have my laptop here. So I want to start with a couple of stats. Okay, did you know that according to the Environmental Working Group, over 60% of beauty products marketed to Black women contain potentially harmful chemicals? Did you hear that? Over 60% of beauty products that are marketed to Black women. All of the products that you buy and the products that you've hoarded, that you swear by, a good chunk of them potentially have harmful chemicals. And I like to say potentially. Maybe let's think about it this way. 60% is very close to 100%. Whereas only that small 40% that's actually really good for you. Something else, 80% of hair products tested contain endocrine disrupting chemicals linked to hormone imbalances, infertility issues, and even cancers. Almost all of the products probably that you and I buy, almost all of, like, you open your product cabinet or wherever it is that you put your hair products, 80% of those have toxic chemicals. Black women, you and I, spend 9 times more on hair products annually compared to non-Black women. So we spend 9 times more on hair products annually, yet we are disproportionately exposed to harmful ingredients. So not only are we overspending on hair products, but most of the hair products that we're overspending on are filled with toxic chemicals. That's crazy. Let's add a little bit more to the crazy. So Black owned businesses own a very small percentage of market share in the ethnic beauty space. So not only do we spend the most, but we represent the least. So the products that we are using these days, unless you know that it's owned by a Black owned business, or a lot of times it's made by people who don't look like you and who don't have your hair. And if I want to push it a little bit, hair companies are a business. And if you live in the West where capitalism dominates, all they care about is output. How many more of these products can I get out there that can be bought? Because people are not asking for cleaner products. Is this all making sense? How are you feeling? And so I'm coming to you not as someone who's a pro at all of this stuff, but as someone who's like, why are we not talking more about this? Can we geek out on ingredients in our products? Can we do that? Why are we not talking more about this? So I did a little bit of research, and this is what I found on how to decode an ingredients label. Are you ready? Let's get it. If you've ever looked at an ingredients label and you felt like you needed a PhD in chemistry, you are not alone. So this is going to be your quick but masterclass on how to read an ingredients label, especially when we're talking about your hair products. So number 1, ingredients are listed in descending order. What even does that mean? The first ingredient is the most abundant in your product, and the list decreases from there. For example, if water is listed first, then it's a water-based product and it's great for hydration. However, if petroleum or mineral oil is listed at the top, then it probably does not offer the benefits that you're looking for. And I saw another YouTube video that said the first 5 chemicals or ingredients that are listed on a product are the most abundant in that actual product. And so the rest of it usually are like 1% or less than 1%. You don't really have to worry too much about them. But of course, it's still good to know what all is in your product. And so back to the list. The second tip for how to read an ingredients label, number 2, the fewer the better. So fewer ingredients often means fewer harmful chemicals. So look for products with short, simple lists. Your hair and your health is going to thank you. And so earlier I talked about how Black women spend a higher percentage of their income on beauty products, and we talk about overconsumption, right, where we have all these hair products in our homes that we really haven't finished. Some we buy, we don't even touch, maybe we use once and then we abandon it. We go to the beauty supply store, we see something else and we buy, and then you go back home, you open up your beauty product cabinet and you see all of these. It's almost like you're hoarding beauty products. So I talked a little bit about overconsumption and how it's actually making us broke in a sense. So there was this comment in one of the videos that I watched recently that says, if you're trying to curb overconsumption, or if you're trying to decrease overconsumption, just look at the ingredients label of the products that you want to buy and you're going to realize just how naturally you put those products back down. And a lot of times we're not reading the product labels because we don't know how to read them. And not only that, but we're overwhelmed. And not only that, there's this narrative out there that there's toxic chemicals in every single thing anyway, from our food to our clothes to our fragrances to our cosmetic products. So at this point, if there's something bad in my hair product, like what the hell is the point? Anyway, wow, I just went on a tangent. So number 3 just goes back to the list of ingredients that are offenders that are very common that you should watch out for. Sodium lauryl sulfates. We've seen that in our shampoos, parabens, fragrance, parfums. They sound innocent, but it's a cocktail of undisclosed chemicals. So opt for fragrance-free products. So when you see fragrance-free, that's probably something that you should grab. And then synthetic colors. And then number 4 and final, this is just a list of helpful websites and apps that'll help you decode or understand what ingredients are. And it's just like, why are we not talking more about this? So there's Think Dirty. You scan your barcode to see the product ratings and you learn about potentially harmful ingredients in those products. There is Code Check, there is INCI decoder, so I'm going to link all of that in the description below. And I mean, information is literally at the tip of our fingers these days. All we really have to do is search. And so yes, in the wake of all of the United Healthcare conversations that are going on out there with the you know what's going on, right? We need to shift a little bit of our culture from like a cure-based kind of system to a prevention-based system, where it's like, if I spend $10 on a product that has all these chemicals in it and I end up in a hospital, it's like in the moment when you spend $10 on a product, you're like, oh my god, that is a steal. But then in the long run, there's some cumulative effects that that product can have on your health that sends you to the hospital, and you end up spending thousands of dollars because you thought it was a steal in the moment, but then because of the effects and the risks that this chemical has on your body, it makes you actually spend a lot more than you initially would have had you chosen a safer and clean ingredient product to begin with. And as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself too, okay? So this is a no judgment zone, because I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I am also on this journey of learning, of swapping, of like, what is the alternative? What is a healthier option? And so I feel like we really need to get to a point as Black women, and if you're not a Black woman and you're watching this, as you, of making just like studying ingredients a cool thing. How can we geek out and nerd out about studying the ingredient labels in our products? We can spend minutes and hours searching for the next best show to watch on Netflix. We can spend hours learning how to make a candle. We spend hours learning how to braid our hair, how to cornrow. I mean, we can also expend that same energy on doing research on ingredients, or at least being a bit more informed on the ingredients that are in the products that we use on a day-to-day basis. Something else too is that collective knowledge is power. A lot of times companies respond to demand, and the more that we reject harmful products and there's an outcry on chemicals that are not doing us any good, these companies are going to start to notice that the demand is shifting from the quick fixes, from the let's cut corners, to the let's really go the extra mile to incorporate products that are going to be beneficial for this community of people. Yes, there's companies that can push products on people, but then consumers also have a lot of power. Our dollars hold a lot of power, and we need to request what we want by going and purchasing and putting our dollars towards the things that we want. And the more that we embrace cleaner brands and cleaner products, the more that these brands and companies are going to step up. And I truly believe that. Don't you believe that? And so all of this conversation is not to fearmonger. It's not to get you to the point where it's like you feel so overwhelmed by just how many things are going to give us cancer that at this point you just don't even care. I think with how I'm reconciling a lot of this is that I'm saying maybe moderation is key, right? It's like if I can limit my exposure to a lot of these things, maybe that can make a difference. If I can inform myself and if I can share that information to other people, then maybe that can make a difference. If we can start to pressure brands to start giving us healthier alternatives at affordable costs, you know, then that might make it different. If we start to even get to the point where policy and legislations are starting to notice, then maybe they can pass laws, maybe they can pass incentives, provide incentives to companies, you know, to then lower the cost of all of the safety testings and all of the regulations that these companies have to go through to give me a product that is healthy for me. Let me know how you feel about all of this in the comments below. Let me know if you feel like there's something that I have missed. Bye.